Greetings, kids and nerds, I'm Lazy Universe and White and Nerdy. And we've all seen a film where basically it puts an ordinary person in an impossible situation where crazy things have happened. We've all seen movies like this, and this is one that kind of almost did the idea well, but failed at doing so. We'll talk more about this in a minute, but if you can't tell from the title of the video down below, yes, I'm of course talking about the Ryan Gosling Emily Blunt movie known only as Fall Guy. This will be my review, retrospective, whatever you want to call it, upon the movie Fall Guy, so if nobody has seen Fall Guy yet but you want to watch this review, just be forewarned that there will be spoilers. So again, if you haven't seen Fall Guy and yet you want to watch this review, just be forewarned once again that there will be some slight spoilers in here, but aside from that, please enjoy the following review. Fall Guy comes to us from the same director of Bullet Train and producer of the original John Wick movie. Now, I've heard good things about Bullet Train, but never personally seen it myself. And also, I do, yes, love John Wick. Even though he didn't direct that movie, even him as producer seems like he'd be a perfect fit for a guy like this. However, it seems like David really was inspired by movies like Kick-Ass, Hot, Hot Fuzz, and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, as it really seemed like that was the kind of film that he wanted to do. People that come from a random location, they have good intention, and then they get mixed up into some pretty fucked up things. That's what David's intention kind of was, but it's not exactly what he hit. It's like his intention was to be like Edgar Wright. That's a great idea. Or the original director of Kick-Ass. Great idea. Except whereas Edgar Wright can really capture the common people and throw them into ridiculous situations very well, here David's not very good at doing that. And you'll see why as we'll talk about basically what happens in this movie, as it's gonna sound very familiar to you, because pretty much what happens with this movie is almost the plot of Kick-Ass, the plot of the plot of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and the plot of Hot Fuzz. To be completely fair, because think about all three of those movies, it involves a random person who gets mixed up into some very crazy and fucked up and weird ass shit. This is exactly what happens here. So let's go to Hollywood and see what happens if we try a career as a stuntman or stuntwoman. So let's find out whatever the fudge happens with us. So let's take a dive straight into Fall Guy, which people are calling, especially from Fresh Fiction, 100% joy from start to finish. Yeah, I have a different opinion about this movie, but we'll come back to that later on. Anyways, let's dive into Fall Guy and see what exactly David went wrong with this movie that should have been awesome. In Fall Guy, we meet Colt Severs, a very well known and very well talented stuntman who seems like he can do the most impossible stunts no one else can. As Colt is the stuntman to Aaron Taylor Johnson, somebody who knows how to do these types of films, like I mentioned Kick-Ass, but feels out of place here. And of course, and I'm not even making this up here, when Colt does his last performing trick, what do you think is the thing that ends up happening to Colt at the end of it? It's a trap. A year after his injuries, Cole tried to do everything that he can to basically redeem his life, but he still misses the fact that he was once a great stuntman. Down on his luck and with nowhere else to go, Colt decides to do the one thing he shouldn't do. He says yes to an old friend who just happened to contact him for a new job. Where Colt is brought into a great crime mystery to try to figure out what happened to Aaron Taylor Johnson. Did he really die? Is he kidnapped? Did he disappear? Or worse? The Fall Guy tried to do basically a mystery that involves basically most random of people. Like I said before, and mostly the probably the one that people would recognize right off the bat, is Edgar Wright's Hot Fuzz, where a cop, Nicholas Angel, is brought into a suburban area within England or London, and then he suddenly ends up realizing that everything is not exactly what it seems, as that is a great mystery that involved a police officer. He tried to do the same thing. It almost feels like he was inspired by Hot Fuzz and wanted to kind of do his own version of it. Except, while David had good potential and he had the right ideas, it doesn't pay off as well as Hot Fuzz. When that twist came in at the end of Hot Fuzz, you knew it was coming. With Fall Guy, you can smell it coming a mile away. I said, no, it's the woman who hired him, isn't it? This has Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. Two very funny people if you use them correctly. This should have been comedy gold. But, aside from great action sequences, which are very well done, and I'm pretty sure that Ryan Gosling did his own stunts for this movie, it feels kind of boring, truthfully. Like, a lot of the basically mystery stuff, it's things that you've seen before. You find out that Aaron Taylor Johnson's not really dead. You find out that he's kind of behind, in a sense, kind of behind this because he made a deal with somebody. That woman made a deal with somebody else. It is a ridiculous amount of point fingers. I'm pretty sure that nobody had pointed fingers as much since basically, the Clue movie or Murder on a Train, or Murder on the Orient Express. But I digress here. He does try, like I said, basically to capture Edgar Wright, and it's like, that's, there's nothing wrong with Edgar Wright. We all enjoy his movies, right? But at the same time, when he was doing the stunt, when it cut to the 18 months later, I'm like, it was just a trap for them, wasn't it? It was just a trap. How could you smell it coming from a mile away, General Akbar? Though I gotta give you this, that for the most part of the movie, at least for, I want to say, a majority of like the first half of it, actually it's pretty decent and it holds your attention. But once that reveal comes in towards the other half and it basically takes over the movie, yeah, I'm sorry, but Fall Guy becomes kind of boring for me. Like I said, the action sequences in this movie are really fantastic. They are fucking phenomenal. I really did enjoy every single one of them. But aside from that, it's pretty boring. Because, like as you'd expect, Colt has to get the information out of Aaron Taylor Johnson. And how did he do so? In the strangest, most fucked up way that only he can. Aside from the action sequences, the ending was not satisfying. The ending was not fucking worth it at all, especially for a movie like this. But I will give them this. I love the end credit gag with the movie starring Jason Momoa for no fucking reason at all.
It's high noon at the edge of the universe. I know these creatures. I fought them. I've loved them.
There's no reason why Aquaman is in this movie. None at all. They never make an Aquaman joke. They never talk about Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa never cameos. So he just comes right the hell out of left field and you not expect him coming. It was so random to me that I laughed harder than I should have at the ending of this movie, where I was like, okay, and then I saw the trailer happening, which is a thing that's happening in the movie, is that they're making a movie within a movie. How many movies have we seen when that happens? Anybody can comment with their favorite down below, but we've seen it all happen. And what's even better, is that it just comes completely out of nowhere, and Jason Momoa is in it for absolutely no goddamn reason. There was no reason for Jason Momoa to be in this. So it would be the same thing for me to throw in something random in my reviews out of complete nowhere just to screw up with you guys. You would try it just for fun. It'd be like me doing this to you guys for no reason.
Happy anniversary, Mr.
I bet none of you were expecting that, were you? You're welcome, by the way. So, what I would really recommend Fall Guy? Honestly, yeah. Well, here's the thing. It's a decent movie, but it has very huge flaws in it. Like, for one, I think that this movie runs for way too long. This movie is almost like 2.5 hours long, which it should have been cut down to at least 2 hours to an hour and a half. It really should not have been 2.5 hours long. And there's also a lot of scenes that drag out forever. Like there's scenes where you'd have two people talking or more, and it's like, and this is going where? Hello? Movie? You have several people talking all at once. I'm very confused about what's going on. Movie, hello. It kind of feels right that you're the one that's absent when you go to the bathroom at a movie theater. You come back out and your friends have just disappeared. And it's like, guys, what? Hello? Where's everybody? What happened? And I really do have to say that, in all honesty, the action sequences are phenomenal. All of them are. Yet, the thing is, this movie kind of goes on for way too longer than it should. This could have been solved, like I said, like 2 hours, hour and a half, but they just drag it out. I don't know how long the production history was behind this. I don't know how long that David Leitch had with this, but it really does. I don't know if his last name is pronounced Leach or Leitch, so apologies. But it really does feel like that he just had to like stretch everything out that he could. Or maybe he had so many ideas, he was just trying to throw them at a dartboard and see what sticks and what didn't. And there are some good ideas that do stick. But the big mystery is not really one that fits, man. I mean, I'm totally sorry. I know that probably this film was your baby or whatever, but yeah, man, it just doesn't feel right. I mean, you should have tried something else. And like I said, and it's true, go and watch Hot Fuzz or Scott Pilgrim vs. the World or Kick-Ass, and you'll kind of draw a comparison that Fall Guy feels very familiar to all of this. It's about a guy that's basically just dragged into hell on his own whims and just had to figure out what to do with it. And, in some categories it works. And here it doesn't. And I do have to say that as a guy that sometimes likes mystery films, this mystery I called it way too soon. And I'm like, okay. Because they were doing the trope of, no, it's actually Aaron Taylor Johnson's character. I'm like, no, it's not. No, and the thing is, I love ATJ. I love him to pieces. From Kick-Ass, Godzilla, Avengers, Age of Ultron, Kraven the Hunter. It's like, this guy can do heroes. His villain is laughably bad. I mean, in a good way, though. It's like, he's playing the character, obviously, but he's too stupid for his own good. And that is hysterical. But I love Aaron Taylor Johnson. He should have been the hero in this, not necessarily the villain. And also, I have to say that, like the ending was really, and not that it's fine at all. In fact, if you want a major stuntman to do your movie, God bless Ryan Gosling, get Jackie Chan. This is a man who's broken every bone in his body and lived to tell stories about it to this day. So, do I recommend Fall Guy? Yeah, but it does have flaws. If you can get past the whole murder mystery type of aspect, and if you can get behind the whodunit kind of category, it's still a decent movie. The action sequences are the stellar top performance of the film, and also Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt are a comedy duo, and their chemistry really does shine on screen. What is unfortunate is that this movie for me just runs for way too damn long, and its whole mystery is like you've seen it coming before because there are films that have done this before. That is why my Funko Pop rating of the Fall Guy is going to be a Phoebe from Ghostbusters Frozen Empire and Ghostbusters Afterlife because it looks new, but there's still that tiny hint of nostalgia mixed in with it. So, the Fall Guy for me gets the Funko Pop rating of a Phoebe from Ghostbusters. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought about the Fall Guy in the comments down below, or just Fall Guy. We'll call it whatever. Also, no, I don't want to say how long it took me to find the title of the movie within the movie. You don't need to know how long that actually took behind the camera. So let me know what you guys thought about the Fall Guy in the comments down below, and let me know if there's other movies that you'd like to see me review, if not this year or next year. And be sure, if you want to support the channel and help it grow, then you can do so by liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, hitting that bell icon so you're notified every single time we can upload. And if you want to, come and talk to me, see what's going on behind the scenes, the best way to do so is by joining Twitter with a link in the description down below. But thank you guys so much for watching. I believe in the universe. I want you to keep your on. And until next time, guys, and as always, take care.